ladies and gentlemen. It's a really great pleasure for me to be here in Avondale to launch the Wicklow Gardens Festival. I am in some ways a bit of a Wicklow man myself. You may think that I've come from the north side of Dublin, but I spent all my teenage years living in Greystones, so I got an opportunity as a teenager to learn about the wonderful nature and beauty of Wicklow and its gardens. And it's nice for me to have not only the opportunity to come back for this event, but to spend quite a bit of time in Wicklow too, in my present position. Probably some of you know who were at the launch of the festival last year that we hosted it in Kilmacurra Arboretum, which is the Wicklow estate of the National Botanic Gardens, managed by Seamus O'Brien. Seamus is here, and it is one of the great treasure gardens of this county. We know that Wicklow is called the Garden County of Ireland, and it certainly is justified by the wonderful range and diversity of great gardens in County Wicklow. There is such huge diversity of gardens in Wicklow that people really don't need to spend any time going abroad for their holidays when they could go to a different garden for almost every day of the summer and see some of the finest gardens in Ireland, indeed some of the finest gardens in Europe. And indeed I would say that some of the gardens in Wicklow are amongst the finest collections and gardens in the world, and we should be very proud of them. One of the things I think that is also important to say is that in this year of recessionary times, and hopefully it's not going to continue, but we will, I hope, see gardens in Wicklow receiving many more visitors than they have in the past, as people decide to stay at home and rediscover some of the great treasures of our Irish gardens. I was looking at statistics of visitor numbers for Ireland last year, and I think we received something like just under 8 million overseas visitors. And it was nice to read that about 140,000 of them went off to play golf. About 130,000 of them went to go fishing. But almost 2 million of them visited gardens. And it just shows how popular and how important gardens are as part of not only our overseas attractions for visitors and tourism, but also for a destination for our own native population in the county and throughout Ireland as a tourism destination. And on a glorious day like this, there can be nothing better than spend the day exploring a wonderful garden like here in Avondale, or any one of the 29 gardens that are included in the festival. I think it's also very interesting to see how gardening has been changing in Ireland. In the past, people were quite happy to simply go and look at some of the wonderful gardens, but people wanted to be more and more involved themselves. And there has been a renaissance in home gardening, particularly from the point of view of growing fruit and vegetables, people to grow their own, and putting in practice what they remembered their grandparents doing at home. And I hope that increasingly our gardens in Wicklow will provide a means to demonstrate what is best about gardening in Ireland, including making it as wildlife friendly as possible. Certainly at the National Botanic Gardens, one of our aims has been to reduce the amount of herbicides and pesticides that are used, particularly if there is any suspicion that they may be harmful to the environment. We've also worked to promote the cultivation of fruit and vegetables, following the best organic principles. We also tried to put in place wildlife-friendly practices, planting species that will attract wildlife to the gardens. We've put in place, for example, wildflower meadows rather than the expensive carbon-rich lawns that require so much cutting from our expensive fuel-guzzling machinery. And I think that Wicklow, I hope, will continue to take a lead in promoting wildlife-friendly gardens for the future. There is an important role that our local authorities can play in County Wicklow in ensuring that each one of the gardens is supported to achieve their mission in keeping Wicklow as the I think that the collective festival is a wonderful way of promoting the gardens individually and together, and the contribution that they can make to the county and to life in the county. I think it is important that we will be able to call on our county authorities to help us, for example, make sure that visitors are able to find our gardens, and there is still a job to be done in improving signage to gardens around the county, and that I know is a big task, but it is something which will help us to deal with the gardeners or garden visitors who call me from Kilbride and say, we want to go to Kilmacurra, where is that? And I think there are steps we can take to ensure that people both in Ireland and in our county are able to enjoy the gardens even more than they do today. We have a great opportunity coming up to showcase our gardens in next month, because in the National Botanic Gardens in Glasnevin we will be hosting the World Botanic Gardens Congress, and we have visitors, about 450 representatives of the world's botanic gardens coming to Glasnevin, and they will spend a day during the Congress travelling around Wicklow, visiting Kilmacurra Arboretum, but also visiting Glendalough and seeing some of the natural areas, the bogs and the woodlands in the county. And it is a great opportunity for us to showcase the Garden of Ireland here in County Wicklow amongst the world's greatest gardens who will be represented here. I really wanted just to finish by saying that I hope that the weather will continue like this all summer, so that each one of the gardens involved in the festival will have a really good and productive season. We've had a pretty tough winter. I think all of us have lost quite a number of plants. The spring has been very late, the summer has come late too. I think some of the rhododendrons in Kilmacurra are on average about 4 weeks later flowering than we would expect them to. But it has meant that we've had a great burst of flowering over the last few weeks, so that our gardens are both recovering from a very hard winter, and it should give us, weather permitting, a very floriferous summer. It also, I think, will help to ensure that pests and diseases will have been knocked out to some extent by the hard winter, so that should be less of a problem. So there is always a silver lining. I would encourage everyone to get out and explore the 29 gardens this year that are part of the festival. I congratulate all of the gardens and indeed the county authorities on bringing this festival through its 21st birthday. Certainly it came of age many years ago, but it certainly is firmly on the map now after 21 years of operation. I would really with that celebrate the 21 years and say that I'm sure that the festival will go on to greater heights in the future. With that, all remains for me to say is to officially announce that the festival, Wicklow Gardens Festival from 2010, is now officially open. Thank you very much.